We're going to be talking about a big subject today that I'm going to be honest, I've kind of avoided talking about this on YouTube. I definitely have conversations with my clients about this before they make a purchase in a specific area, but I really haven't talked a lot about it on YouTube because it's been a kind of a difficult topic to tackle. What am I talking about? We're going to be talking about the most dangerous cities in Oklahoma. Coming right up. Hey everybody, Stacey Hester here, your favorite realtor in all of Southern Oklahoma, and we're going to be talking about kind of a sensitive topic today. We're going to be discussing the most dangerous cities in Oklahoma. I've had a lot of requests for this video, and I've really hesitated to really talk about it because Googling Ardmore specifically, we suck. I'm just going to say, the Google statistics of Ardmore look pretty harsh, but I could never understand it because, frankly, I've never felt like I needed to do any kind of true concealed carry in the state of Oklahoma. I'm going to talk a little bit about my background, and then we're going to start talking about the statistics that you see on the internet. And then we're going to be talking about I forgot to turn off my notifications. It really was a deep dive for me, pretty much spanning the time frame of a couple of years. My background and where I come from kind of maybe playing a role in this and my feelings on safety in the Southern Oklahoma area. I really don't want to minimize anybody's opinions, especially minimize anybody that has been victim of a crime in Ardmore or Southern Oklahoma or anywhere in Oklahoma. That it really is not my intent here. But I really do, however, want to deep dive into the statistics that you see and help us all understand what I discovered on my journey in figuring this out and why we look so incredibly horrible.
As I was editing this video, I realized how much I'm talking about Ardmore and how much I'm talking about these 5 communities that are of like size so that I can give you a comparison on that. The reason I'm talking about these communities so much was because this was really how I came to understand the data that I'm looking at so that I could really explain it to you guys in a way that you could understand and that I could speak somewhat intelligently about. And more importantly, I come up with a top 10 list from data directly from the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigations. And lo and behold, there may be a conspiracy at play here. You be the judge.
So let's get started. What do we look like on Google? We look like absolute dog crap. It's wild to me to just go through and see. Let's just type it in. Per southwestjournal.com, riskiest cities in 2023, you've got Tulsa, Idabel, Anadarko, Ardmore, Ponca City, Hugo, Pauls Valley, Del City, Muskogee.
It's Muskogee. I was just testing you to see if you were paying attention.
And Oklahoma City. So one of the things that really drove me crazy about Googling Ardmore and looking at safety in Oklahoma as a whole, if you look at the stats, Ardmore, of course, is ranked number 4, and Ponca City is ranked number 5. If you look up towards the top, it says on there, violent crimes per 100,000 people. So what does that mean? It means that they blew up our numbers to be 100,000 people. So they multiplied, in this particular instance, multiplied us by about 4. So you see the number of 869 violent crimes on there. Really, you would need to divide that by 4. So we may be sitting at about 200 if you really do the real math on this. But if you just look at the line of Ardmore, you would just basically see, holy crap, in a population of 24,000 people, 869 people have had violent crime.
Pew, 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 pew.
Not true. So not true. This is what was really starting to drive me crazy in talking about this and discussing it with my clients. By the way, if you are ever interested in purchasing real estate here, please be sure to give me a call. I would love to have a conversation with you about it. Let's just pull up one more site. Yep, here we go. Most dangerous cities in Oklahoma for 2023. Tulsa, Idabel, Hugo, Pauls Valley, Ardmore, Ponca City. Crap. I'm I've seen some comments in some of my YouTube videos saying murder capital of the world. I'm like, whatever. Okay. I've also read everybody in Ardmore's on drugs, to which I replied, I'm not on drugs. I'm from Ardmore. A lot of interesting things, a lot of interesting perceptions about our fair little town out there. So this set me off on a journey. All of that to say that this really set me off on a journey, wanting to meet the people of Ardmore and really get a better grip, a better understanding of what these numbers mean and why had it been a city that had consistently hit this list. Through this, I joined what's called Leadership Ardmore. It's an amazing program with the Chamber of Commerce here in the Ardmore area. If you ever have an opportunity to do one of these programs with the Chamber of Commerce, I highly recommend it. If you have any interest in the city government or how different pieces of the government work together from state to county to city, this really was an amazing program for me to get involved in. And it put me in touch with the right people that could help me understand these numbers because I got the real data. Through Leadership Ardmore, I was able to connect with the chief of police, with the sheriff, with the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigations, and also get in touch with some of the judges and also prosecuting attorneys. One of the things when I asked them about why is Ardmore always one of the most dangerous cities according to Google, there were a few things that were brought up by the prosecuting attorney, which was very interesting to me. And I feel that he summarized it best by quoting Mark Twain, saying that there are lies, damn lies, and statistics. So the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigations, they compile all of the data from all of the various law enforcement agencies in Oklahoma, from the sheriff's office, the tribal police, and also from the local police departments. What I really wanted to do in part of this deep dive is a few things. I wanted to look at the other two major cities in southern Oklahoma, which is Durant and Duncan. And I also wanted to take a look at another community of like size to Ardmore, but wasn't part of that greater metro of a bigger city. The other city that is of like size to Ardmore is actually Ponca City, which just happens to be basically our sister city up on the north end of I-35. Shawnee was another one because it's another city of Oklahoma that is of similar size to Ardmore. And then I really wanted to look at Durant and Duncan because those are the other two larger metros that are in my area. Duncan is roughly an hour west of me and Durant is roughly an hour east of me. So other large population areas that are in southern Oklahoma. But the data I really wanted to get into is the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation Office of the Criminal Justice Statistics. And the last publication we have from them, there is a delay on this, so I apologize. It is what it is. But the last publication we have on this is from 2020. This is a huge document that is sectioned out quite well. There is a lot of data on here. So where we're going to go, we are going to skim all the way to the end because that's where all of the true crime statistics are. This is where the real meat and potatoes is at. And they break it down by county, and then by county, they break it down into the sheriff's department, the local police departments, and also if there's any kind of tribal offices there, they would include them as well. So the first county we're going to be looking at is Carter County. Carter County has reports coming in from the Carter County Sheriff's Office, Ardmore Police Department, Dixon Police Department, Healdton, Lone Grove, and Wilson. Those are all city areas, town areas that have their own police departments, all reporting in. Looking at the information, we've got a population from 2020 of 24,718. The total crime index is 1,329. The total crime index is a reflection of adding together murder, rape, robbery, felonious assault, breaking and entering, larceny, and motor vehicle theft. All of those added together bring you to 1,329. Dividing that into our population of 24,718 gives you a crime rate per 1,000 people of 53.77 crimes per 1,000. So if we have a room of 1,000 people, 53.77 people have had one of those crimes committed against them. And then looking at the Carter County Sheriff Department as a whole, so the county as a whole, any county crimes, the people that would have been counted in this, which would be anyone outside of city limits of Ardmore, Dixon, Healdton, Lone Grove, or Wilson, the total population there is 12,660, so half of what Ardmore is, with a total crime index of 206 and your crime rate per 1,000 of 16.27. So there you go. Always less crime in the country because the country's just different. Let's look at Ponca City. That's in K County. K County. The counties are what's in alphabetical order, so just give me a minute as I scroll down to it. Johnson, K. Okay. So Ponca City, so 2020, they had a population of 23,484. Total crime index was 1,205, and the crime rate per 1,000 was 51.31. Let's take a look at Shawnee in Potawatomi County. Let's scroll down there. Oklahoma has some of the most fun names to say. And if I'm not saying it right, then you all can just make fun of me, but I try. That's all I can say. I try. Potawatomi. Okay. So looking at Shawnee. There you are. It's a little bit of a funny page break here. So Shawnee, 2020 stats were 31. They had a population of 31,606. Total crimes were 1,495. Crime index of 47.3. Getting into Durant. Durant is in Bryan County, so we're going up to the B's. Durant Police Department 2020 stats, they had a population of 19,007, so not far off from Ardmore, honestly. They only had 599 crimes with a crime index of 31.5. Stevens County is Duncan. Duncan for 2020 had a population of 22,226 people. Total crime index was 943. Crime rate per 1,000 was 42.43.
Okay, so now we have an idea of how this report works. We're going to add in the other communities that we saw from the Google lists. So here you can see Tulsa, Idabel, Anadarko, Hugo, and Pauls Valley, just kind of a combination of those two lists together. And you can see that the crime rate per 1,000 in Tulsa was 62.44. Idabel was 73.39. Anadarko is 58.55. Hugo is sitting at 52.50. And Pauls Valley is sitting at 50.07. At least that's what I think it says. I'm trying to read this with my glasses. Okay, so I created my own chart here, and you can see that reordering these, you can see that Idabel is now first, Tulsa, Anadarko, Ardmore, Hugo, Ponca City, Pauls Valley, Shawnee, Duncan, and Durant. I'm going to go ahead and exclude Shawnee, Duncan, and Durant because they really don't fit the list anymore. But I just wanted you to see kind of a comparison of how all of these come up. But I also discovered, going through the entire Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation list, I went through and looked for the top crime rated towns based on that percentage of crime rate per 1,000. And strangely, I discovered that one of Oklahoma's top tourist destinations was missing from this list, which is Broken Bow. If y'all have ever been to Broken Bow, it's a beautiful location, but there's a lot of $1 million cabins out there. And apparently it's a little hotbed of criminal activity, just taking advantage of people out there on vacation. Not unusual. We experienced that a bit in Ardmore as well because of Lake Murray, which also boosts our percentages. But I just found this as a huge curiosity more than anything. So take it for what you will. Let's reorder the list now, adding in these communities. Idabel is number 1. Tulsa is number 2. Broken Bow is now number 3 on the list, which has been excluded up to this point. Anadarko, number 4. Locust Grove, Ardmore, Hugo, Ponca City, Pauls Valley. And just for reference, I added Oklahoma City on there just so that you could actually see how it compares to other communities in Oklahoma. But Let's take a look at the violent crime rankings for these communities, which is looking specifically at murder, rape, robbery, and felonious assault. This was another statistic that came up specifically on Google, and I just wanted to see how these communities ranked looking at the violent crimes in these areas, because they don't necessarily stack up the same, and I feel it's important to look at crimes that are actually committed against other people versus crimes that are committed against objects, so to speak. So re-ranking these based on violent crime rankings, you can see that Tulsa is number 1, Anadarko, Idabel, Ardmore, Ponca City, Broken Bow, Oklahoma City, Locust Grove, Hugo, and Pauls Valley. Again, just reordering those same 10 communities based off of that information. So using that blow up theory that I'm going to call the Google statistics, you can see that we're actually not too far off, but it still, to me, matters just to understand what this data is. And like I said, the biggest curiosity more than anything was that Broken Bow was missing from these lists.
The geographic location of these towns could definitely play a role. Ponca City, Ardmore, and Durant would have a higher influx of population from either Texas or Kansas, depending on which town we're talking about, which definitely has an impact. So Oklahoma has legalized casinos here. I don't think I've seen any in Kansas. I'd have to double check that, but Texas does not. And I know a lot of people come here to gamble. That can definitely lead to a little bit more of a possible criminal element. We also have several tourist destinations. Ardmore in particular, we have Lake Murray. A lot of Texans come up to visit Lake Murray. It's a beautiful lake. If you haven't seen it, be sure to check out my video talking about Lake Murray. It has a lot of influx of tourists, which can lead a little bit more to a criminal element coming here to take advantage of those people. Other things to take into consideration about communities is what kind of economic impact you might have in those areas. The last thing I want to talk about, because this was really a curiosity to me, Ardmore statistics, I mean, we do rate a little bit higher than other areas that I talked about, but as a whole, I really wanted to talk to my clients that had moved here from other states and get their perception on what life was like in Ardmore and how what was their take on it? Did they feel that Ardmore was a hotbed of criminal activity? One single lady that I helped, she definitely said, when I told her that Ardmore hits the most dangerous cities to live in, she scoffed at it a little bit and just thought that was really kind of funny, which I thought was funny. I would definitely go to any place in Ardmore after 10 o'clock at night, and I really wouldn't feel like drive quickly through an area. I just never feel that. I have felt that, but I just don't feel that in Ardmore. I like Ardmore quite a bit. I have been very lucky. I have not been the victim of a crime, and my heart goes out to those of you that may have been. I have been victimized before, to include a bank robbery at one point in time. But, you know, life goes on. But truly, my best advice to you, if you are considering moving into an area and really do want to get a better feel for what it's like in a specific area of Oklahoma, go there and visit. Get your own take on it. See if you feel uncomfortable. Walk around downtown. Do it after hours. Ardmore is very much a sleepy town, so as soon as the sun sets, not a lot's happening in our little town. But I really feel it's up to each of us to make our own decisions and not just take things at face value for what it is that we see on the internet. But that's my two cents on the most dangerous cities of Oklahoma. If you want to know more about real estate in the state of Oklahoma, I do have contacts all over the state, so I'm not just focused on southern Oklahoma specifically or Ardmore. I do service other areas, and I can help you find a great realtor in other places of the state. So don't hesitate to reach out. All my information's on the screen right now, but that's what I got for you guys today. Until the next time, you guys. Bye.